Good morning. We are here with working on our place square for cross stitching a little more. I'm gonna turn this down just a hair. We are listening to the latest from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is in the wrong order. Well, that's frustrating. Well, we're gonna hear it in the wrong order. But this is Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava, I think is the name. Yeah, we got it. Excellent. It's very jammy. It's basically an experiment in writing songs in each of the Greek modes of music. So, as I said, we're gonna hear it out of order because I don't feel like fixing it right now because I have the They did the thing again where it's only on vinyl or Bandcamp download, so I have it downloaded. 3 hours, copy data, 2 terabytes transferring. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so still have this chunk that I don't want to tackle yet. We have this stuff down here. Let's work on this stuff down here that we kind of outlined last time. This is going to be a bunch of very sussy characters in different, like, D&D character classes. This is going to be some striping. This will be the top of some of Apollo's emotes. Let's do some nice straight up just stacking some color lines here. Nice and simple to get started here. Let me dig up my key because I don't feel like scrolling all the way back up to the top when I have a printed one. My very beaten up key here. I have the whole pattern printed, but I've been using the PDF on my second monitor for that part. Okay. 3804 dot. Cyclamen pink dark. Okay. 3804. 3804. Hope all's been going well for ya. It's good to see you this morning. This album came out less than a week ago. The first of 3 that they're putting out this month. Mad lads, I tell ya. Mostly good. Kitties have been pretty rambunctious. Yeah, kitties will do that. My 2 are currently sleeping in the kitchen. I'd say they'd probably make their way in here eventually, but they seemed pretty comfy. This is also the band I'll be road tripping for a few hours to see live later this week. The tickets that I've had for over 3 years. They kept just rescheduling it. I'm excited. I've seen them live a few times. One of my favorite bands. Got to see one of my other favorite bands last month. That was in town, which was super convenient. I'm pretty stoked to be able to see live music again. Traveling to your hometown, help with the grand opening of your friend's boba shop. Awesome. That sounds super fun. I hope that goes well. I had a boba tea for the first time last month, I want to say. It was just a canned one. There's, I think, a couple places in town. I just haven't made it to them. It was alright. I imagine it's much better fresh and not from a can. Ooh, making a video for them? Fun. I've done a little video work from college and also have been making goofy TikTok videos for our work account. That's been fun. But man, I really don't have the patience, confidence, whatever, to do more video work. Drive. I don't know. It's one of those things that's like, well, I can do it, but not my jam. I have a lot of respect for it because I know what goes into it. I think part of the problem was that it was a real intro videography course, and I came at it from more of a photography side of it and was annoyed I couldn't transfer some of that. Although some of that's not such a big deal now. Like, I learned the hard way that I couldn't just turn the camera sideways to get a different aspect ratio and have it look fine interspersed with the rest of the video, but now that's a thing because of internet viewing on phones, so that's just weird to think about. She can't really afford a videographer, but you offered before she asked. Aw. As long as you don't go with the dumb idea that just immediately came to mind that I had, I'm sure it'll be wonderful. My first thought was Boba the Builder. Can we make it? Yes, we can. I would recommend not listening to my advice on video ideas. We're on many things. Let's be real here. Although it's also been really interesting helping make TikTok videos at work, because, uh, because I'll have a dumb idea that'll be a reference to something, and I bounce it off my, much younger coworkers first, and gauge whether or not it would work based on partly if they've even heard of whatever the thing is I'm referencing. I have to tell them, don't be polite. If you really have no idea what I'm talking about, please say so, because that means it's probably not going to hit on TikTok. Like, I won't be offended. I know I'm a generation above you. And I don't know what's persisted, what hasn't, and sometimes what was even actually popular at the time and what I just was interested in. Now she can have a commercial to send out and save on advertising. Yeah, that's awesome. That can be a really nice portfolio piece, too. Especially if it gets aired and whatnot. Having a live work for a portfolio is real good. And not just, mock-up project stuff. I'm sure it will be lovely, and she will get tons of business. I joke that I don't really use my graphic design degree, but I do use it more than I realize, considering I don't put a ton. I should really rebuild some of my layout stuff and whatnot, but it's been just kind of piecemeal as I need stuff. But realizing that I've been just whipping together layouts and doing some basic advertising and putting it in a template, my thumbnails and stuff for YouTube, that I can kind of just whip something together in not much time and it looks fine. Means I am actually using that info, which is kind of refreshing. Especially when I see really bad advertising and layouts and realize that no, just knowing how to make it look nice and throw it together isn't necessarily a innate skill. Grow your photography and videography. Yeah, that's awesome. I believe in you. I'm still hoping at some point to get this channel to, if I could even get it to like part-time income level, I would be thrilled. Because I wouldn't mind streaming more times a week, but it's really not viable yet. I'm thankful that my job has been really supportive and flexible with scheduling. I think I can count on one hand the number of streams I've had to cancel because of work conflicts. Usually canceled streams are almost entirely when I'm not feeling well, which isn't terribly often. And once in a while when there's something else that comes up. It's usually spending time with family. Like next week or the week after. Whoops. Tuesday stream will not happen. When Thursday stream may not happen. We'll see. Depending on when we get back into town. Some my partner's birthday, so we're going out of town for a few nights. Here we go. Thread was trying to escape on me. Work is flexible too, which is why you can go to the grand opening tomorrow. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So I've definitely worked at places where that was not the case, and it's frustrating. This is probably my favorite track off this album. I've listened to the album once or twice. It hasn't been out very long. So far, it's been kind of hit or miss for me. We'll see if the tracks that I don't care for as much grow on me. Like I said, it's very jammy, but some of it has enough movement and variance that it doesn't feel like it drags, but some of it kind of does. Their other track albums coming out this month are Laminated Denim, which is an anagram of Made in Timeland. Made in Timeland was two 15-minute tracks that were designed to be intermission music for their 3-hour marathon sets. And Laminated Denim is another set of those type of tracks for one of the other marathon shows. I don't know if they're doing a third set of intermission tracks. They have 3 different locations that they were doing the 3-hour marathon sets at. And the last one this month is apparently something that's been in the works for a few years. So I'm hoping it's going to be some kind of finely tuned prog nonsense like Polygon Dwanaland was. I would be so thrilled if that's the case, because that is my all-time favorite of theirs. I'm a sucker for 70s style prog. Aha! My edges are fraying and part of it pulled through here. Let me grab that. I should probably tape those or something. They're not a big deal until I start picking them up with the needle. I was worried that I hit a random fray in the middle of my fabric that I had somehow hadn't noticed. Nope. Just dangling from the edge. Alright, let's anchor this and get the next color. Alright, let's get the end of my floss bundled up here. Okay, what's next? Violet, very dark, 550. There it is. All right, next one. It's going to go across the same way as the magenta did. I think this eventually just, like, goes over and goes down, but that's on another page. If I do it page by page, I'm less likely to make mistakes. Honestly, I think this section here is going to be the hardest part of my entire square. You find watching cross-stitching satisfying? Good. It's a lot of fun to do, too. It's one of those crafts that you get really good visible progress as you work on it, so it's very motivating to keep going. And I've got quite a ways to go on this project yet, obviously, since it's full coverage and I'm not even halfway through it. But, my thoughts were, as long as I have at least a few people that remain interested in Tune In when I'm finished with this, I'll probably work on other cross-stitch projects and keep Monday morning stitching and music a thing. I've got some patterns I want to design, actually. Some patterns I want to design that I don't have plans on actually stitching, and some patterns I want to design that I want to stitch for the house, so I've got to get a Gumroad up and rolling for some of the patterns I've done. I have to revisit some of them now that I've got the DMC booklet I showed off last stream, or last cross-stitch stream, so I can get better color matching. I figure I'll do that on Gumroad because they don't really have much internal promotion, which isn't a big deal, honestly. But it lets me put things at 0, and then if people want to donate for it, so then I can stuff that's like fandom stitching patterns, I can just not worry about because I'm not charging unless people want to. And then I've got some bigger flower ones that are modified from photos I've taken, that those I might ask a minimum couple bucks for. Because those I put a lot of effort in for reducing colors and cleaning up confetti and making sure it's going to be reasonably good to stitch and still look nice. But I find that kind of thing pretty fun to do, so. I had a shared shop with a friend that was good for getting us both kind of up and running with some of it, but I feel weird using her login to access the shops and stuff, and I'm just gonna move them to my own. Which I've already gotten her permission for. I just have to let her know when I want some stuff that I've done delisted. We were also initially collaborating on some projects more than we have been now, so we're kind of now to the point where we're kind of each able to do our own thing entirely. But we started off with her doing the initial design on some patterns, and I would do the cleanup. Which worked out well as we were both kind of learning the software. I also might do some of the I do quick and dirty like Pokemon stitches once in a while, and frame them in small thrifted or inexpensive frames to sell at artist alleys for conventions. That there's a group of us that we don't want to have to fill an entire table by ourselves, and we can't always make the all the conventions that we want to have the table at. So we're just a group of people that we just submit what we can, split table fee, and help out when we can on the table itself. I do reclaimed 2¼ inch buttons, and then video game sprite stitches. Too many projects, 3D printing, photography, D&D podcast, work, learning crochet. Yep. Big mood. I have a couple closets full of supplies I've been trying to de-stash as friends and coworkers mention that they want to try projects or need supplies for something, I found it's a lot easier to let stuff go that I might not actually use like I thought I was going to if someone can actively use it. I'm at a point in my life, too, where if it turns out I did actually need it in the future, I'll just rebuy it then. It's not a big deal. Which is a nice luxury to have. Like, I mean, obviously not on anything huge, but it's not like when I was unemployed in college, where whatever supplies I had managed to get on clearance when I happened to see them was what I had to work with. It's very gratifying to just be like, for this, for example, it's like, okay, I need this specific size and count of fabric that I don't have from picking up at thrift stores, and I need some specific colors, and I need to buy supplies for this frame. And that was just okay, I'm gonna go get the things I need. I mean, I will still pick up stuff like at thrift stores and clearance if I know I can actually use it. Like the frames I've been doing for the tiny cross stitches. Michael's had 3 packs on like super on sale, and I stocked up. Because I had been actively using them for projects, so I'm set on that for a while. And for the small projects, I pick up bags of weird size, like scrap fabric, the Ida cross-stitch fabric, because I'm doing such small projects. So, like, 50 cents for a baggie of random fabric is perfectly fine for my purposes. Teaching yourself how to draw better, too? That's awesome. That's something I should really get back on. I still want to do it at some point. Maybe I'll do that on Mondays and alternate. I've always wanted to do the, like, draw the original 151 Pokemon and never had the motivation to actually follow through on it. But I think the reason I haven't started yet is I still have some back end to figure out. I have a graphic tablet that I'm not very good with because I haven't used it much. And and Photoshop, which is fine. I might have better software somewhere on this computer I can use for it. But what I kind of want to do is do a digital drawing of each of the Pokemon in a nice square chunk, and then design some just like type backgrounds that I can put them on. And then because I have a 2¼ button maker, I can actually make them into pins and sell them, like on Etsy or somewhere, as sort of a multifaceted project where I can do drawing stream to actually do the Pokemon and then have them available for people to purchase. Seems kind of fun. But I've still got some back end I need to figure out on it. Because shipping them out should be pretty easy, because I can just sling those suckers into a padded envelope and call it good. But I do have to figure out if I need to come up with like a minimum order to make shipping worth it, and if it would be worth it for me to look into one of the sort of USPS programs where you can print labels at home and do the shipping that way and stuff. So I've still got some back-end stuff I need to get sorted out. Wedgwood Dark, 3842. There it is. 3842. And I'm the type of person that has a very hard time just starting a project, and either I can start something and wing it as I go, or I need to plan out most of the steps before I'm comfortable starting it. And that's something I've been struggling with. I think in this case what I need to do is, I think maybe when this is done, I'll take a break on the cross-stitching and try the Monday morning just draw the Pokemon. And then figure out kind of the rest as I go if it's feasible. Otherwise, we'll just have a fun draw all the Pokemon stream series. I think that might be. And then I can kind of gauge interest if there actually would be interest in getting the pins or if it's not going to be worth all the setup. I gotta think about that a little bit, but I think that might be the way to do it. Because that'd be a similar thing where I just put on music and do the thing and hang out. And similarly, I can just, because of the way I have the music channel set up, just export it and throw it on YouTube like I've been for these. Need to reserve your booth at your next con. Well, good luck. If you're ever in the Midwest, let me know. So if you're comfortable, I can come visit and see what you got. If it's one that I'm at. You're in Wisconsin? Oh, that's convenient. Well, the one I make it to regularly is Kitsune in Green Bay. As I am also in Wisconsin. Here at KitsuneCon this year, just Saturday. Yeah, I just made it on Sunday. Because our collaborative did a panel doing tie blankets for a local shelter with the werewolf group. Oh, fun. I suspect we may have a mutual friend, which I think I knew but forgot. that I suspect we have a mutual friend who is very artsy, uh does a lot of werewolf. I think she's been getting back into streaming again a little bit, which is awesome. She was a big force in helping me actually get up and streaming. Mainly just knowing that if I had questions on like the social media end of it and a little bit of the streaming, because she'd done some of that I knew I could ask her. Just knowing I had someone to ask any and all dumb questions I had went very far in me actually just doing the thing. Very grateful for her support. I know she's been changing some of her online handle stuff, so I'd have to check to see what she's using these days, but I'll make sure to shout her out when I find out. I have a command for it. I finally got around to it. Apparently Twitch has one built in, um, but I've been hearing mixed reviews on how well it works, so I'll just use the bot command. Yeah, it was one of those things that anytime I thought of it, I was already streaming and in the middle of a stream, and then would forget that I needed to look into it after the stream. So I was in the issue of I need to remember to do the thing, but I can't do it right when I think about it because I'm busy. And finally I remembered while I was in someone else's channel and they did a shout out. So then I could drop everything and do it right then and there. Learning that I have ADHD and how that's affected a lot of my patterns and how I get stuff done has been an interesting journey. I've been doing my best to realize some of the stuff that I might not have paid attention to and try to find better ways to not forget things and make sure stuff gets taken care of. I found out the reminder program on my phone has a setting that you can just put like a big checklist on your home screen. Has been amazingly helpful for not forgetting appointments and stuff because they're all right there. So I could try like a calendar app, but if I'm not looking in it constantly, I'll only get like the reminder the day of, and sometimes that's not good enough if I've forgotten to plan around it. But if I see it all the time, then it's there. It's very helpful. So went to your first girls' night and it was fun. Oh, funsies. Yeah, I've got some friends that we do a girls' night once in a while, which is mainly just hanging out and being tired, and sometimes we make cookies. All right, this piece of thread is not going to carry me through the end of the line here, but that's okay. Hoping next time you can invite others over. We'll have fun. I'm realized that I'm weird that I think fundamentally very introverted, but I can very easily just chat with people and make friends and whatnot. But I lost my train of thought. That happens. Cats need to have more social interaction. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, but social interaction with like either a small enough group and or having it be primarily people I already know, I'm fine. When it gets to be a big group of people I primarily don't know, I get real anxious. So friends of friends being invited into gatherings is a best way for me to meet them. All right, let's go ahead and anchor this. I'll grab another piece to finish this off. One of my cats is incredibly social and loves everyone. The other one is a big giant jerk face who hates everyone. And I don't think any amount of having people over will change either of those. Stretch! One sec. And hydrate. And how are you this morning? Hope you're doing well. Cats need time to know people or they freak out when new people are around. Yeah. Tired? Yeah. Big mood. Speaking of stretching, I had a physical therapy appointment for my back issue I've been having. Apparently it's a issue of not enough flexibility like in my hips, and it's a back muscle that's compensating for that. I think it flared up with my flu and COVID, probably with the flu shot. Because I got a lot of like general muscle ache and body ache from that, and I think that just made that one real bad. I've got some stretches I need to do at least once a day to try to get the muscles more flexible. Or Kitsune played her 50 plus person werewolf game. Yeah, that's a lot of werewolf. I'm not very good at the deception style games. I try though. I also prefer the one night style werewolf where it's round by round, so you're not sitting and waiting. The one I tend to go to is a Love Letter. I adore Love Letter. It's one of the few player elimination games that's like the bluffing deception because it plays so quick. It's real easy to learn. And the rounds are real short, so that if you're knocked out immediately, you're not waiting very long for the next one. That's one of my go-tos for that style of game. I picked up Coup ages ago and really need to sit down and play that one because it also looked like a lot of fun. Surprise engagement mid games. I took photos and video. Oh, I've seen those photos. That was so cute. All right, we got our stripe there to the end of the page. That'll continue over and go downwards at a point when we get to the other the other pages. Oh, let's see here. Where do I want to tackle next here? Let's do this section here. Let's start with whatever color that X symbol is. Nile green medium 913. Go to the Boxo floss for the project. Which is so much easier now that I've gotten them all on bobbins and not just randomly chilling in a box in full skeins. This is one of the tracks that I feel goes on a bit long. Oop. Wrong box. This box. Erp. Dang it. Gonna be that kind of morning, is it? Nope. Let's try that again and get it on the right square to start with. There we go. Works better when I get the stitch in the proper place. Shocking for this sort of craft project. Who'd have thought that you need to count in counted cross stitch? I'm shocked and appalled, I tell you. Check something quick here. Alright, then we skip one. Was that the last track? In this weird wrong order they had? Yep. Okay, I'm gonna grab a CD to follow up. I figure if we're listening to jammy shenanigans, I figure Oysterhead's a good follow-up. This is from 2001. It is one of those groups that's just a bunch of people from other bigger bands. And by a bunch, I made three. It's Stuart Copeland from The Police on drums, Trey Anastasio from Fish on guitar and some of the vocals, and Les Claypool from Primus on bass and also some vocals. If you're familiar with any or all of those bands, the style of music that you are about to hear should not surprise you at all. It's fun. I don't think they had another album. They did a few performances. But enjoy Oysterhead. I like this album a lot. But I figured it'd be a good follow-up to the very jammy new King Giz. I don't like super plan playlists for these streams, but I try to not have anything that's too jarring. Definitely familiar with all those bands. Have you heard of Oysterhead before? Out of curiosity? Should be able to hop to do a little bit of stitching here. Oysterhead is the only one you're not familiar with, so this is cool. Oh, fun. Well, I hope you enjoy it, considering how familiar you are with the other bands. I know that's not always the case. 2, 3. I've definitely had like album and band lineups that sound like something I should love, but have not been to my taste. This one's great. I never really got into Fish, but it was nice kind of getting into Anastasio's work a little bit through this. Primus is definitely the one that I've had the most familiarity with of the three. Although, I don't think I have it handy. I might have to dig it up for next time because I don't have my CD shelves put together yet. But I'll have to play for y'all. Geddy Lee, of Rush, vocalist and bassist for Rush, did a solo album that's fantastic. That would probably follow up well after this. I might step away and do a real quick dig to see if it's convenient. But that might be another time listen for a Monday. But I'll try to remember to dig that up because it's really good. Okay, this is one where I could probably count and hop over and do a couple stitches, but I'm afraid that it's far enough away that I'd get it wrong, so I'm just going to anchor this. Not tempt fate. Especially since stitching on stream is stitching slightly distracted. I mean, not a ton, but kind of a pretty mint green color. All right, let me get the extra floss tucked away here. Just wait, one of these streams we're gonna have a total throwback to my favorite albums from like high school, and it'll be a lot of late 90s, early 2000s rock. Some of it did not age well. That's not gonna stop me. Let's grab white and start getting the letters in place, because then I can stitch around them. I really like the groove on this album. Or on this song in particular. This track's about floating in a sensory deprivation tank. Oz, if I remember correctly, refers to their producer or someone on the like studio team. Mean the world to Dr. John C. Lilly. Enjoy the invisible stitching that doesn't really showing. Spike your fluffy boy chillin' now. Aw. Adorable. I haven't seen either of the cats recently. Sometimes by now one of them has wandered in to chill, but I think they're both still asleep on their respective boxes they were sleeping on and in before. We have a very old shipping box on the kitchen table that we can never ever get rid of because the cats would be sad. Sometimes they fight over who gets to sleep in that specific box. He's an inspiration. He's an inspiration. He's an inspiration to us all. He's an inspiration. He's an inspiration. He's an inspiration to us all. Done and said. Along comes Mr. Oysterhead. This has been done and said. Inspiration. He's an inspiration. He's an inspiration to us all. has been done and said. Along comes Mr. Oysterhead. I just put all of these stitches in the wrong spot. At least I realize now and not after I moved on to the next letter. Did the whole word off by one. I started over one too many. So the whole letter is off. Boy, cats like to fight over who's going to sleep on your chest because there's enough space for two. Aww. Wash only sleeps on or near me if I'm on the sofa using his favorite blanket, because sometimes he'll begrudgingly share. Slayer's the one that will sometimes snuggle by me at night. Although he's 20 pounds, so when he sleeps on my chest, there's not much moving that's gonna happen. Sometimes he'll fall asleep on my legs, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and my legs will be asleep, and trying to get a very asleep 20-pound cat who is very comfortable and doesn't want to wake up to move off your legs so you can feel them is a bit tricky. Come on. Eh. Alright. Hold out all the work we just did so I can redo it over one space. Kind of shredded the ends here, so let me trim them here. They likes to blanket on your bed and sometimes sleep with you. Thankfully, right now she's small. Aw. I was gonna ask if cat names were based on Cowboy Bebop, Buffy, or something unrelated, but I now have the answer. I have a friend with a couple of cats named after Cowboy Bebop characters as well. She's got a Spike and Jet. Cowboy Bebop's good stuff. Our cats are named after a Dark Souls character and a Firefly character. Turns out we're nerds. I'm sure that's shocking to everyone. Alright, redoing our work, but in the proper place this time. Yay, Firefly. Yep, we have Solaire and Wash. Solaire's name is appropriate. He's giant and fluffy and loves everyone. He's a total sunbro. Wash is kind of a misanthrope. And a jerk face. He loves my husband. He tolerates me. most of the time. Hey, we're almost caught up to where we were before I had to pull everything and fix it. Hard drive is 51% complete on transfer data. Yay, over halfway done! Yeah, I picked up an 8 terabyte drive to put my video backups on for the stream recordings because I like to keep the raw stream record. That took a while. Because I had to move it off of the 1 or 2 terabyte external I was using. I also moved a bunch of just non-critical stuff off of my primary so I could have more room for stuff like programs. So my primary is a not super big drive, but it's an SSD. So I want to make sure it has room for programs because that makes everything run so much faster. This song gets super stuck in my head. I'm gonna be humming this one for like a week. One terabyte NVMe SSD. Yeah, I think that's about what I have too. Those drives are wild. They're so tiny. And they mount so weirdly compared to a standard just SSD or a standard SATA drive. I've really got to go through my old cables and figure out what I actually want to keep and what I need to e-recycle. I have so many ID cables from old computers. Nothing uses them anymore. I got a hard drive enclosure that runs on USB so I can actually access my old drives as basically an external drive. But yeah, 8 terabyte is a hybrid drive. Not sure if I'm familiar. Do enlighten. I know mine's technically supposed to be like a RAID drive, but it works fine just as standalone as well. The price was right for it. And I did my research on it and found it would be perfectly fine for my purposes as a data drive. Disk drive with SSD for extra large cache. Interesting. That's cool. I'm shocked that this trio of musicians would have a song about drugs. Shocked and appalled. Sarcasm, 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 sarcasm. Great for photography and videography? Yeah, no kidding. For processing. I lucked out with my rig. Um, sarcasm is thick. Yep. Um, this is the first time in decades I've bought a pre-built computer. Because I knew GPUs were going to be tough. I did not realize that they were basically literally impossible unless you camp locations and websites to try to get one. It's absurd. But I had a coworker that did some esports professionally, and I'm like, oh, if anyone knows where I can get a graphics card, I should talk to him. And the place that they play at, one of the managers has kind of a sub business there building computers. And so I contacted them. And he was like, well, we don't really just sell the parts. We're not in that sort of business, but I have this machine that we built that the customer backed out on that I'll offer to you at a good price. So I talked to him and got the specs for it. I suspect it was a customer who commissioned it whose eyes were bigger than their wallet. It's a weird setup, because it's not... Hey, buddy. Osh wandered in. Not normal specs that you'd see on a high-end gaming rig. Like, it's not focused in the areas you'd normally see. It's got a 3060 in it, which is perfect for me, because I'm not pushing 4K and I don't care about pushing 4K. And it's got a beast of a CPU. It's an i5 11K with 12 cores. So as a result, it's really good for gaming and streaming and also for rendering video. So it's absolutely perfect for my purposes and mainly overkill for anything other than my exact purposes. And I got a very good price for it. It was a fair price. Because I pieced out the parts and stuff. And it was fair. It's pretty similar to what I would have built myself anyway. Except that it's got, like, case with RGB lighting and stuff. I actually contacted him and I'm like, does it have all the gamer lighting and can it not? And it wasn't worth the price to put it in a new case. But they did me a solid and went into various settings and downloaded programs to turn off as much of it as possible. Which I appreciated greatly. Like, less gamer lighting, please. I prefer no gamer lighting. I would be fine if the case was just a black obelisk with good cooling. Still saving for your upgrade? Yeah. I was lucky that it was basically exactly in the range of what I was looking to pay. After I initially talked to him, he set up a time for me to come look at it. And basically I knew I was buying the machine, and I was just going to ask him when and how he wanted to be paid for it, what was going to be easiest. And he's like, well, is there any programs you want on there that I can show how it runs? And I'm just like, no. You gave me the spec sheet. I trust that those parts are in that box, so I'm good. I think I was a bit of a refreshing case to deal with for a machine because I knew exactly what I wanted and what everything could do, and it was for my end. It was basically, yes, I would like to buy machine. What did you say price for machine was? Okay, I pay for machine. I take machine home now. Thank you. So running a 1660 Super, because use a 3060. Yeah, 3060 is about the, without pushing 4K, is probably top of the line. And it's got a lot of memory, which is nice, and the GPU as well. Also was great because I mentioned that my machine I was replacing still had a lot of relevant parts for like mid-tier gaming. It just wasn't going to work for streaming as well. He's like, well, if you bring it in, we can take a look and I can help you part it out or look up what the prices are to part it out so you can try to sell it. And I'm just like, eh. It's like, well, you can just list it on Craigslist and stuff. I'm like, that's too much work. He's like, or we could maybe offer to buy some of it. You wouldn't get as much. And I'm like, yes, that please. So I brought in my old machine, a couple other older gaming PCs I had kicking around the office that I hadn't yet scrapped for e-recycling, and just brought in the whole pile and went, here, let me know what you want and what you are giving me for them. And then they offered to keep the rest and e-recycle it for me. Do you need 4K for photography and videography, but 3060 is good for that? Oh, good. Means you actually could get use out of a 3070. Uh-oh, I think I'm off again. Crud. I am super off. The O's are one space wider. Blarg. Pulling stitches again. And here I thought I was doing a nice straightforward section that I wouldn't mess up while I'm chatting. Nope. I blame Apollo, because it's his emote I'm stitching. That seems fair, right? Enjoy me pulling white stitching off of white fabric that I'm sure shows up great. Again, here I thought B. I'll just do the lettering. That'll be easy enough to follow. I won't possibly mess that up. I should never underestimate my capacity to miscount on cross-stitch. This piece of thread is getting pretty shredded. Once I get it pulled, I'm just gonna toss it. I'm not gonna reuse it because it's gonna look bad. Alright, now we gotta pull some of the stitches here. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to trim this and probably just pull this letter and redo it because I'm not gonna have much to work with because I already trimmed the tail. The bad part about anchoring the ends of my thread so well. There's my end. Yeah, this one's getting pretty shredded as well, so I think I'm going to back up to the W and redo the entire O. Just so it's clean. Otherwise I'm going to be concerned of having enough of a tail and also just it looking bad because the thread's getting so torn up. Oh yeah, this is getting shredded. Because my focus is not getting the thread clean, but making sure my canvas stays nice. I'm not in the mood for conversation. You can come around. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I'm not in the mood for conversation. I should really be using a different needle for this. These needles are thin, and this is how I keep bending them. This is a smaller size than I normally work with. Woohoo! This thread is done! hydrate! Alright, I should have enough here to get a nice end trim and hopefully anchor it. I don't want to have to pull all of this if I can get away with it. We'll find out though. If I have to pull all of it, then I have to pull all of it. Okay, I think I saved it. Didn't have to redo the W there. Though honestly, that might have been easier and quicker at that point, but whatever. Alright, let's redo these O's again. We are definitely not using that piece of thread we just pulled. It is shredded from pulling it and redoing it a couple times. And also the way I was pulling it was not conducive to the thread surviving, which is fine. It's on my power. There we go. Should see Spike. He's asleep and attached to your head. Aww. Fluffy baby. Sentences like that make me feel like I should take up KDM's offer on setting up a Discord server. I just feel bad because I know very little about Discord and would be basically no help in the actual, like, setting up and maintenance of the server itself. And I don't want anyone to have that sort of responsibility for something because I can't deal with it. But it would be a place where I could have people post pictures of cats. Okay, these O's are 3 wide, not 2. Let's get it right this time so I don't have to pull everything again. Ready the blades, sacrifices must be made. I almost did it the wrong way again. That'd be impressive. Not in a good way, but impressive nonetheless. There we go. That's correct, finally. Because it's one wider than it is tall, which feels weird for a, an O. Set up well, you don't have to worry about after set, so you do it with yours? Oh, well, we'll see then. Maybe I'll look into that. Because it would be nice for people to have a spot to post stuff like that. You had a friend you trust double check your settings and haven't messed with it since? Nice. I can barely use Discord, much less set up. Thankfully, it's reasonably easy to set up, especially now. Nice. I'm old. Change and new things scare me. Alright, I'm gonna do some quick counting, make sure that these stitches land where they're supposed to. Just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Hooray! It's correct. Woo! Thank goodness. So this piece of floss should get me through the O. And I'll grab a new one for the F. You're old too. Nice. I do joke that with slang and trends that I have never heard of or not familiar, that I am not hip with the youth. But to be fair, when I was a youth, I wasn't really up to date with any of that either, so I don't really have an excuse. It's very weird and very interesting seeing a generation grow up with the internet, because that wasn't really a thing for me until about middle school, like end of middle school. Back when the internet is was small enough that you really could like actually document it. And there were like navigation pages that would collect like websites for specific things and be comprehensive, which is just wild to think about now. Haven't started on TikTok yet. Yeah, I have really no interest. I just do goofy videos for work once in a while. One of those things that apparently it can be a good reach for content creation, but I don't have the time or inclination. So I'll just keep doing what I do. Heck, I don't even actually edit my videos for YouTube. My editing is basically just removing the going live at the top of the stream, and then sometimes if there's a little dead space at the end of the stream, and if I think of it, I'll trim breaks. Mainly editing I do is when it hasn't happened since we switched to ISPs, but when I was regularly getting internet drops, I was using it to stitch the videos together. Because I put content up like I like to consume it, which is just the whole stream. Sometimes it'll take me a couple views to um get through all of it, but that's fine. Let's start at the bottom actually. That's one of those things, if I start to see some growth and can justify it, that I might hire someone to do some editing and go about that way, but that's something I really don't have the inclination to do myself. So I don't. I mean, I'm only on Twitter insofar as I post schedule and going live. That's it. That's all I use Twitter for. I have a personal Instagram I haven't touched in ages. I didn't use it very much to begin with. I use that just to message a few friends and businesses that are primarily just on Instagram. Come on. I have personal Facebook because I am old enough that my it's legitimately the only way to keep up with some friends and family because they are also old in internet generation terms. That's basically all the social media I partake in. Used to be the owner of the world. Used to be the owner of the world. Used to be the owner of the world. Now he's just another man who used to be the owner of the world. Although, from a practicality standpoint, keeping all of the stream stuff as streamlined and simple as possible means that I'm way more likely to keep up with it and not feel like I'm getting overwhelmed. And then just kind of adding new stuff or changes after it kind of falls into a good workflow, which I feel is a pretty healthy way to approach it too. So it doesn't take up a ton of my time. Like I've got it down to I get stuff downloading for the video and then I get it basically rendering overnight with the edits and sometimes the beginning and end cut and then sometimes a little bit of audio adjustment if it was a bit quiet or a bit loud. And I actually set up a template for YouTube. So I just have to edit a couple things in that and upload it. And then I eventually got around to looking into how tags and some of the SEO stuff works for YouTube, and then went back and edited my older video descriptions. That was like 130 videos. That took a little while. That was a couple days, but I do something, I'm gonna do it. All right, that's the end of the lettering for that square, and the end of the album. The oldest sibling, brother is 3 years younger, sister is 13 years younger, and I'm almost 33. Yeah, I'm going on 40. All right. Let's see. I don't really want to stop and go look for Geddy Lee. Let me see what I've got in the pile that I dragged in here. One sec. Well, speaking of killer artists who can jam, let's throw on some Joe Satriani. He's an amazing guitarist. This isn't one of my favorite albums of his, but it's the one I have handy, so it's the one we're going to listen to. He is actually the person that taught Steve Vai to play, and also Kirk Hammett. And he is very laid back and chill. I actually have a hard time watching the G3 concerts. When it was Vai, Satriani, and Petrucci from Dream Theater, because Steve Vai is so full of himself, and I cannot stand it. Just overbearing. Okay, so X was 913. Excellent. Like, Satriani's just quietly shredding off to the side in sunglasses, and Vi is flourishing with everything, and just, ugh. I can listen to it, but I cannot watch the video of it. Put me off so hard. I do love Satriani, though. Vi's okay. It's harder to listen to him after I lost a lot of respect for him with how he performs. Petrucci's good stuff. Dream Theater is great. I need to pick up, Satriani did an album called Engines of Creation that I think one of my parents had, so I don't have that one. But it's very, like, industrial guitar. And it's really good, and I adore it. Actually, I might have that one on mini disc. I should be able to patch in my, portable MD fairly easily, in theory. Maybe I'll have to play around with that, because I have a bunch of good stuff on minidisc. Yes, I'm that kind of audio nerd. Don't worry about it. It was really practical for school, because they were much smaller than a portable CD player, and the portable MP3 players weren't really a thing yet. My dad has an uncanny ability to back whichever media format is the one that is technically better, but definitely doomed to fail. So as a result, I got into minidisc. But I've got a box of those somewhere. I know where my home player, my stereo player, and my portable are, though. When talking about Joe Satriani and how he taught Vi and Kirk Hammett, I point out that I think it's interesting that the only time you really hear Satriani's influence on Hammett's playing is the guitar solo in Fuel. So it's just so bright and clean and very Satriani with how he does his runs and stuff. It's like even his distorted stuff like this is still very, very bright tone. And it's a very clean distortion, which is a tone I like a lot for guitar, especially for instrumental solo stuff. It's also a lot more impressive for technical play because you can't hide any muddy runs or playing through distortion. Because when it's that clean, it's gonna hit everything, so you have to be incredibly precise and accurate. But also just stylistically, it's a tone I like a lot. And for noon, watching the VOD and not having the music that's curious. This is Joe Satriani, Strange Beautiful Music. I've got a copy of Surfing with the Alien around somewhere too. That's the one that really was his breakout. He's also a nerd, because Surfing with the Alien is the, he's got the Silver Surfer on the cover. Because that's the alien he's surfing with. Also, Silver Surfer's real name is a terrible pun. His name is Norin Rad, which you could abbreviate to NORAD, which is the weather agency. Yeah. It's bad. Although it is one of the... Must not have... Guessing he wasn't named by Stan Lee then. Well, at least the original name, backstory name. Because Silver Surfer is alliterates, but Norin Rad does not, so... Thinking someone else might have come up with that name. OMG, what at the NORAD pun? That's canon. You can go look that up. I don't remember how he became the Silver Surfer. Probably something something space particles. That was pretty standard for that era. I had a DVD for a while. I still might of Kevin Smith interviewing Stan Lee, and it's really really entertaining on a few different levels. One thing that's entertaining is Stan Lee keeps wanting to talk about Kevin Smith's movies instead of talking about his own stuff. And then Kevin Smith was like, the X-Men were such a, so huge for my generation growing up. How did you come up with all these different powers and stuff and all these different backstories? And Stan Lee is basically like, oh, it's just a giant cop out. You need someone who can like walk through walls. They're mutant. They're born with it, so you don't have to come up with a backstory for it. And look on Kevin Smith's face, that this rich mythos and whatever that they explored was initially just a huge cop out for backstory purposes. It's pretty great. It's like, too many characters, couldn't come up with backstories for all of them. They're mutants. They're born that way. I find that endlessly entertaining. I think I don't do this stitch. That's correct. This is going to be the other color. Okay. What's also a lot of fun to do with music and finding new things to listen to is look at who plays in the studio for a lot of musicians. Like, for example, whoever session musician sitting in to for the other instruments for stuff like Joe Satriani. Um, when like strictly session musicians do solo albums, sometimes they are wild and usually super all over the place on genre because they've trained to basically blend in with any sort of band and style that they need to. And so they've got all these weird influences and technical skills. And sometimes very, very deranged, weird humor, too, because it's just like they have to be so serious when they're actually sessioning. Mike Keneally's a good example of that. That's one that I have on minidisc. If I get the player up and running, we will listen to some Mike Keneally. He is a fantastic guitarist, and it is just a wild trip of an album. Alright, you're starting to be able to see the wolf there. Let's grab. Fill in the rest of the middle there. 911 emerald green medium. All right, let's see here. There it is. Emerald green. All right. You'll be able to see Wolf very clearly soon. So I'm filling in the rest of the spots around it. And I'll go back and get the diamonds on either side. Make sure I'm still on camera here. Excellent. Colors are closer together shade-wise than I thought they would be. Yep, looks like that's correct. Okay. Just scrolling up to check the generated graphic of it. Who still isn't in the system and therefore can't do any training and was sent home early. Oh no! I'm sorry. That sucks. Just get to vibe here for a bit, but still. Yeah, I'd rather you were able to work. It's important. I mean, I'm glad to have you here, but it sucks that that's the circumstances for it. We're working on some of the boxes that we outlined here. We did this stripe. We did the lettering here. We're filling in around it. It may have taken us 3 tries to get the lettering right, but we got there. It's correct now. So mostly you just missed a lot of stitching white on white that you couldn't really see, and then tearing out white on white that you couldn't really see, and then restitching it and repeating. And weird music, but that's how it goes. In case you're wondering, this is Joe Satriani. Strange, Beautiful Music is the name of the album. I heard 2 weeks ago. Ugh, that's gross. I'm sorry that you're going through that nonsense. That's awful. Ugh. That's ridiculous. There's no excuse for them not having that worked out yet. Mm. Yeah. I wish it was something I could help with other than just, you're awesome and I care about you and you're doing great. And it's not your fault that they're being butts. Playing cool music, so that helps. I said Joe Satriani. He's a heck of a guitarist. Actually, this track gives me very Dream Theater vibes. I wonder if he picked up some of Petrucci's style while they were doing G3. Leftover mashed potatoes. Delicious. Yeah, earlier we listened to King Giz's latest, and then Oysterhead. Just like a weird mashup band with the drummer from The Police, the guitarist slash vocalist for Fish, and the bassist slash vocalist for Primus from 2001. It's very weird but fun listen. Okay, designing a tattoo you might get someday when you have monies and it's looking super fun so far. That's awesome. You'll have to show me. I'm excited. You know how much I hate seeing people's creative pursuits. It's the worst. Sarcasm, sarcasm, sarcasm. Alright, this thread isn't going to carry me through all of this section, but I want to see if I can at least get to the bottom of this column. We're going to play thread chicken. Come on. And now it's stuck. Alright, fine, thread, you win this round. Better in person, you have to get a good picture, bad camera, broken charger, good camera. Oh, gotcha. Well, I look forward to that. We'll have to do porch lunch again sometime. Will Turbs Electrodes park grass type in his suite? Yes. Okay, of Voltorbs. Ah, that's adorable. I love it. Porch lunch is fun. I enjoyed porch lunch. But we'll get trickier soon once it gets cold. 81%? It's getting there. Three Voltive's Bouquet. Tried to add some melee elements. Okay, diamond shaped gem. Oh, cool. That sounds really pretty. I love it. I do like chili. Chili is tasty. Are we going to have porch chili at some point? Alright, so I need whatever the weird 7 looking symbol is. 907. And try to make some at some point. That sounds delicious. $907. Also, chili's great because you can make a big batch of it and section it out and freeze it. Because it freezes and reheats real well. Only know how to make a big batch, just eat it every day for like a week. Yeah, good. I have absolutely eaten delicious chili for like a week. Nothing wrong with that. Spike is asleep on the floor on his desk really close to power strip. Oh yeah, been there, done that. One of the cats has absolutely stepped on the power button to my computer a couple times because it's on the top. I've got one of them. Wash now knows to step over the PC so he can get yelled at for being on my desk instead of stepping on the PC and getting super yelled at. Slayer is not that aware of it yet. So he's done it while I've been streaming. And it's like, well, if I suddenly disappear, because the cat turned off my computer. I'm a little sad we're only getting the top portion of a couple of Apollo's emotes because they are adorable. But at least we're getting a little bit of them. Because they're all adorable doggos. He has real good emotes. Alright, let's get this anchored and get the other one done. I have not been voting in Fat Bear Week. I was vaguely aware it was happening. I look forward to seeing uh pictures when it's done basically and they curate the best pictures. There's voter fraud, so now they have captchas. Oh goodness. Internet is wild. I say as I cross-stitch a bizarre collaborative internet project. Don't judge me. I'm helping preserve very strange internet history. It's important work. It's a neat project. I'm glad I was able to sign up and help out. And I was able to get us set up for streaming it. Because it just felt appropriate to stream the stitching of this. The most archival. let's hop over and get the beginning of this too. So there's going to be another little diamond and another tag for another one of his emotes. Oh, actually, let's do this a little smarter because I can wrap this a little bit if I am careful. Let's do it this way. All right, how many down do I go before I skip one? 5. All right, then I skip one and go all the way to the bottom. Hydrate. And stretch. That's a good idea. I'm just gonna stand up and stretch everything out here. It's been a bit. I encourage everyone to do the same. There we go. And hydrate. I think My next dream tech upgrade is going to be getting a new boom mic holder that has a shock mount. Should hopefully reduce on noise when I move it. And also this one, I think the threading on it is the screw bit is getting loose. And it's making my mic float a bit in it, which is not great because then it goes in directions I don't want it to be. Because it's unidirectional, so it needs to be facing the right way. Mic itself is still fine. I'll be able to use this one for a while yet, but I think I need a new boom holder. It's worth it? Yeah. I mean, this one I got my money's worth for. I got it pretty inexpensively just because I wasn't positive it was going to work for my space anyway. Um, yeah, this one was decently rated. Um, for the price, I didn't pay much for it because, again, I didn't know how my desk setup would work with a boom mic holder. But it got it off the desk at least. And doing incremental upgrades. Just recently replaced my pop filter with a wind sleeve cover. So it's one less thing that I can accidentally bonk while I'm doing stuff. Basically, the things I put an amount of money into, like, the first go around instead of incrementally upgrading was getting a mic that would have good audio and last me a while. And a webcam that was decent enough for my purposes, although I wasn't planning on initially streaming craft sort of stuff. That there's a good chance the webcam gets upgraded before the mic does, because I'm still happy with the audio I'm getting on the mic. But the webcam isn't great for picking up this sort of detail work. It's acceptable, so it's not a huge deal, but I might need something in a higher grade with a better optical zoom. Made moving the mic worse than its original solid stand? Oof. No, I didn't pay a ton for this one, but I did make sure it was at least well rated for stability, which it is. But I suspect it was made to go more with the shock mount than the using the threading on the mic itself. But if I'm gonna get a shock mount, I should probably just get a new boom arm and just get something a little nicer. But we'll see. I might just be able to put a shock mount on here and be fine. I'll do some research and see. Blue Yeti, good enough for now. Webcam is a DSLR Panasonic G7. Yeah, that's guaranteed better than what I'm using for a camera. My mic is a Samson Meteorite, which is pretty comparable to like a Blue Yeti. Got this one on sale for like 60, and it seemed like a reasonable cost to get a basically introductory USB mic that would actually have. I read reviews and people were using it for music as well, which means that it's picking up nicely. I've been very happy with it for my uses. It's been very good for the cost. SM57? Yeah, sure is nice stuff. Honestly, the only reason I got a webcam to begin with is because during staying at home years, um, my gaming group moved to doing Zoom meetings once a week so we could at least keep in touch and hang out. And if I was hosting Jackbox, I would have to be on my computer. So I had a mic, but I didn't have a webcam. So I either had to be without webcam, which people wanted to see me as well, or set up my phone just as a webcam on the table as well. So I just got a half decent webcam. It's the Logitech 920, I want to say. It's fine. I think I paid a little over 100 for it. Perfectly fine. Introductory level. Cheap enough that I could pick it up and not have to worry about it a ton, but good enough that it was gonna last me a while. Basically, I figured getting good, like mid-range introductory equipment would give me good enough quality to get going and to use for other things that I want to use them for. Um, without spending and then as if I get bigger and want better equipment, then I'll be able to justify going up to basically straight to professional level equipment. Seemed like a pretty solid way to do it. And that way too, if I go to professional level equipment and something goes wrong, then I'll have backup equipment that's at least acceptable quality. Like if I get a nice mic and everything and I have issues with it, I could pull out this as a emergency backup and know that the quality will still be good. Sennheiser shotgun, upgrading your camera. Ooh, fun. I haven't looked into Sennheiser mics. I'm a big fan of their headphones. Even their low-end headphones have beautiful fidelity. I like them because they give a very clean tone. It's the reason I have studio monitors for speakers on this computer instead of computer speakers, because a lot of computer speakers will people want to be listening to things and have it boosted for different places. Like they'll do a lot of bass boosting and stuff, same with headphones. But I want a true clean tone. And so I can get that with studio monitors instead. I want any audio adjustments and EQ adjustments I do to be on my end. And if that means I get flatter sound, that's fine, because that's more true. I'm an audiophile, so. I do love these monitors as speakers, though. They're great. I'm very, very happy with them. Hoping next year mobile rig for live streaming events. Good luck. That's awesome. From what I've heard, the tougher part of that is the data and coverage. Although if it's events and you're on Wi-Fi, it's not so bad. But once you get off of Wi-Fi, that's, from what I've heard, is a big limiting factor. Because that's a beefy amount of data to upload on the go. And depending on where you're streaming for Wi-Fi, they may have caps or limits on their Wi-Fi usage if it's a big enough place. Although you might be able to talk to venues and let them know that you're doing that sort of thing, and you might be able to get onto a different network. It's like an internal network that isn't throttled. But good luck. That sounds like a lot of fun. Really is. The hotel should allow you on main instead of guest. Yep, that's what I'm saying is. Most venues will have, if it's a large venue, will have a separate guest account. But yeah, if you're on their main one, that shouldn't be an issue. Talk to, if it's like a hotel, then talk to their IT department. To make sure, even with being on main, make sure you don't need to have any special network privileges to not be auto-throttled or locked out, depending on how they're set up. Networking is not my jam. I know enough networking to know how to search what I need to do when I need to do something, but not to know how to set it up without doing so. It's usually like at work when something isn't behaving and I have to figure out how to fix it, then it's looking up how to potentially fix and connect things. There's some very specific skill sets with networking that are nigh useless outside of a particular network, but volunteer your skills for charity event at PhoenixCon next year. Awesome. That sounds like a blast. Love it. Yes, piece of thread was perfect size. Or to get through here. Nice. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna grab that darker green again. Fill in some of that. Back to this one. I think I did those in the wrong color. I think... No, wait. This might not be the right color. Hang on, I gotta study this. See what I messed up. What I need to fix. I think this mint green is wrong. Nope, it's correct. I grabbed the wrong thing. Okay. This is why I'm double checking now, so I don't do what I did up here and think I'm grabbing the right brown, and I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna double check here. I think everything is fine. X is the Nile green medium. That's this. Okay, good. This one is the 911, so that was this one that is not the symbol I'm looking at right now. That's this other symbol. Yes. Okay, we're fine. We good. That's why we double check. So the sooner I find a mistake, the easier it is to fix. Even if it's from ages ago and already totally anchored and tied off. If I don't need to pull it from around other stitches, that's much easier. So then I have to worry about those. If I can just pull from clean cloth, it's much easier. Scroll this up so I can see all of that section better. There we go. Twist my thread a bit there. My stitches stay nice and tidy. As tidy as they get when I'm stitching anyway. Oh no! Forgot to message. Go do that now while you're thinking about it. So you don't forget again. 6-hour drive when you get off work. Oof. Yeah, I think I've got a 3 or 4 hour drive one way this week or this weekend. Such long drives. Well, mine's to go see a concert. Be able to rest for a few hours before leaving. Well, that's good. Okay. Just had the feeling like this wasn't correct, but yes, it is. No, it isn't. Instead of 8+ hours a day for the railroad cruise. Oof. That's a lot of driving. No, I had it right the first time, I think. You know what? We're just gonna wait on doing this line. Because I'm second guessing myself too much on it. So that means we're just going to end this section here and not use the end of the thread, just to make sure that I don't get it wrong. We'll come back to it when there's more around it, which might be after like one more color, but still. If I do it 2 different ways and it feels wrong both times, I'm just gonna wait. And that was just about perfect timing on this section and also on the music. If I can get this dang piece of thread to go into the needle. It's usually not this bad. There we go. All right. Here. Here's the back for people who care about that. And here's how it's looking on the front. Let me see if anyone is live to throw over to.